Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to my 55th Flosstube episode. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel that's mostly about cross stitch. However, I do share my other hobbies here when I've worked on them. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and spending time with me. I appreciate all of you even more than you know. Today is Monday. It is November the 11th and it is a warm day here in Maryland. Every time I think the fall weather has arrived, it jumps up into like the mid-70s again. So I'm a cold weather person. I like when it is cold outside and cozy inside. So here's hoping that this is the last warm day for a while. I wanted to start out today's video by saying thank you to everybody that went and visited my Etsy store. I felt a little bit silly talking about it because there's just the one lonesome pattern in there for now. But I really appreciate everybody that went there and favorited it or purchased my pattern and left really, really kind words. Thank you all so much. I was like so excited. So thank you for that. It has been longer than I anticipated since I've been here last. I was hoping to get this up at the very end of October, but that didn't happen. And then I tried on Friday and I just wasn't in the right headspace to sit and have a chat with all of you, so I put everything away, and I normally iron everything before my videos, and so all of my beautifully ironed pieces have now been stacked up for a few days, so we might have some more wrinkles than normal. I'm sure that you guys won't mind though. What else? I hope everybody had a nice October. Ours was really busy. It seemed to go by really, really fast. I did do a lot of stitching in October. I participate in Michelle of Cozyegg and Emily C of Eclectic Possessions Dark October Stitching. And it's one of my favorite times of the year, so I did participate in that, and I've got plenty to show you from there and a little bit into the beginning of November as well. I'm coming up at the end of a 10-day vacation. Today is my last day off. Erin and I took a little trip to celebrate my 40th birthday, which was on the 9th. We went to a cabin in Virginia. It was beautiful. The main part of the cabin was from the 1830s. It was really, really cozy and cute, and we just did stuff around there. We went to a winery. We went to Harper's Ferry in West Virginia, which is someplace that neither of us had been before. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm sure I'll be putting pictures up here of that. We hiked around there and had a really awesome lunch and just kind of hid away from the world for a couple of days. And then on our way home, we stopped in Frederick, Maryland. Sorry, the windows are open and there's like construction equipment going by. So on our way home, we stopped in Frederick, Maryland, and we went to a restaurant for lunch, and then we went and did a little shopping, and I've got some things to share for that. Other than that, we're just taking it day by day, as I'm sure a lot of you are as well, and yeah. So I've got a lot to share with you today. I have all of my Dark October stitching. So in the month of October, I picked like 6 kind of focus pieces, which did not get a whole lot of focus. And then I try to work through a lot of like my small patterns, and I work on normally 3 or so things every day, which is how I like to roll. So I've got starts, I've got finishes, I've got works in progress, I've got all those good things. I have my birthday start over here, as well as my plans for the rest of the month. I've got some things, like I said, that I purchased. Had I filmed this video at the end of October, I would have had basically no purchases. I bought, I think, like 1 piece of fabric and 3 patterns all of October, which is maybe a record for me, I'm not sure. So I guess we should get started. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention before I get started is that, I don't know, maybe you guys, some of you might know this, and maybe some of you don't, but the titles of my floss tubes are all song lyrics, and so I decided to, Grateful Dead song lyrics, so I decided to make a Spotify playlist of all of those songs. In case you were interested in checking that out, I did a combination of live versions and studio recordings, because not everybody might be into live dead. but I'm going to have that link down below. So just a little something extra. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, I'm going to get ready and we're going to get into the cross. All right. Also, before I get started, I do have a little bit of a cold. I woke up with a cold yesterday, so I might have to pause even more than normal for sniffles and or coughing. So, no caveat there. Okay, so I got everything basically in the order of when I started it. Like I said, I worked on multiple things each day, so things got worked on at different times throughout the month. And some of these projects that I started in October, I didn't actually finish until November. So, all right, let's see what we have up first. Here is Tombstones by Kathy Barrick. I do have the tombstones from Michael's to mount these on. It was actually, sometimes I have a Michael's not too far from my work, so sometimes I plan like a little trip on my lunch break, and I had planned a trip on my lunch break the same day that Kathy Barrick put on Etsy about getting those, and so I went and got you immediately. Alright, so that's Tombstones. This is the one that I stitched. I do want to do this one as well, but I saw that Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, did that on dark fabric, I think it was a 20 count Ada, and that way she didn't have to stitch all the black, and I think I might do something like that. So I stitched this on a piece of 40 count something. I don't know what this fabric is. And there's my finish. That went super quick and is super cute. The pattern does say you do need to stitch it on 40 count or 20 count for it to fit properly on the tombstone. But yeah, that was a quick little finish to get the month started. The first focus project that I had is an older whip, and this is by the Witchy Stitcher. It is this was in a Poe box that I purchased a few years ago, and has since been released. This pattern does have coffee spilled on it, so don't mind that. This is Poe the Raven. It looks like this. And if you have been with me in years past, I've talked about that I didn't realize that this fabric that it was stitched on has there's two different sizes. There's a big one and a little one. It's a primitive hair fabric, and I had the little one, but I still wanted it on here, so I decided to stitch it over one. And it's in this cute bag. The fabric is called Dark Spell, and I'm stitching it in Moselle silk. This is just black. It needs to be wrangled for sure. And so I've talked in the past about how here, I'll show you. I wasn't sure what to do about this project because it's like so small in the middle here. I hope you can see I don't have my, there, you can see it better there. You can see it fine in real life. I'm not sure why it's being silly. But because the margin will be so big, I wasn't super in love with it, but I did decide to keep going. I've asked for ideas of kind of how I should finish this, and people have given me lots of great suggestions. I'm thinking maybe shadow box will be the way. But when I picked it up this time, I really thought that I could get this finished, and I probably could have, except there was, you see this like little line at the bottom? I think I put that in the first time that I worked on it, so I would know that there was an error. But then when I was working on it this time, I couldn't figure out where the error was, and I was like, that seems weird. Well, the error is that this space here where the words go is 4 stitches too short. So I stitched in almost all of this last word here and realized that it wasn't going to fit, and I had to pick it all out, which was not fun. And I did figure out how to make the adjustments that I need to be able to get it to fit in here without basically pulling out this entire side. But once I unpicked it and I kind of recharted what I needed to rechart, I was over this. So I don't know, I guess this is going to linger for one more year. So that was a little discouraging, I can't lie. But it's alright, we move forward, right? The next thing I have to share with you is a pattern by my friend Ethel. Excuse me, who is Stitches by Ethel. This is Black Cat Moon. I believe in my last video, I talked about the stitch day that I attended through Hodgepodge in Stroudsburg, PA, and Ethel had this pattern as well as these little like thread beds for all of us at the table, which is super cute and super kind. So I stitched this up immediately. I used the called for DMC, and I stitched it on a piece of 32 count cobblestone. I just have this little scrap here, and here's my finish. Isn't that adorable? I loved this. So I don't know that this pattern has been released yet, but once it is, it's a super fast, super cute little addition to your Halloween stitching. Lovely. Then on the other piece of this fabric, I don't have a cover sheet for this one, is a Mama Witch X Stitch pattern. She has, was it last year maybe? She did Adopt a Ghost, and it was like a ghost and a cat ghost and a dog ghost, and maybe there was another one, but I got those three, and I stitched the ghosty. I think this face keeps things from focusing properly. So there we go. So I stitched him up. These two were like little lunchtime projects, and this one took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. Cute. So I do have the room to do the other two ghosts on here, and I'll just make these into little, I don't know, maybe little pillows, or this might go into a little hoop or something. I'm not sure yet. I am in desperate need of doing some fully finishing. My pile of finishes is unbelievable right now. So hopefully this winter will have the time and the energy and the ambition to get some stuff done. I did actually go through and I put a bookshelf in Cora's room, where it's where I keep all my frames, and so now I've got all my frames up where I can actually see them, and they're separated by size, so hopefully that will encourage me to do some stuff. Alright, the next project I have here also doesn't have a cover sheet. This was the 31 Days of Postal by Rich's Garden Crafts, and if I can, I'll put a picture here of kind of her finished cover sheet if there is one. She has a lot of great freebie patterns in her Facebook group. If I can, I'll link that below. I'm going to show you another project in a little bit that was a freebie from her pattern, and currently right now she's offered up two freebies that are really just beautiful. So I do suggest checking out her Facebook. So I did, for the most part, keep up with this stitch along. There were a couple days where the stitching was a little bit more than I could quite get done in the time that I had allotted myself, but I never got too far behind, and it was fun. It was exciting every morning to get the email. I looked forward to it every morning, and yeah, so that was great. I've never done a daily stitch along before, I don't think. So I stitched this on a piece of 18 count. Heard It Through the Grapevine, I believe, by Grace Notes Fabric, and I used all of the called for DMC. And here's my finish. There's strands. So, this fabric is a little bit darker in real life, but yeah, this was fun. Every day we got a part and a little bit of, a story to read, or a little bit of information about Poe's life, and I really liked it. So that was a lot of fun. I'm not sure where it'll go on the Poe wall. You can't see it. There's a cabinet right here, and I think above that cabinet I might be able to fit this. So that'll be a nice addition. The next larger focus pattern that I pulled out to start was Llight by Cozyegg Designs. This is part of the Nocturne collection. Looks like this. I love this so much. Okay, I think we're safe. Miss Coraline does not appreciate big trucks driving by. Anyways, I was talking about this beautiful, beautiful pattern by Michelle. I have a whole big project bag full of tombstones to stitch, and I was really excited to make this my next one. So That is the project. It's living in this bag here. I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count Fortnite fabrics in Pick Me Choose Me using, this is a mist dye, a color and cotton mist dye. It is like a gray to brown variegation, which I don't know what's going on with the light. But there we go, it's beautiful. And I did not get a very big start. So my bigger projects, my focus projects, are the ones that I work on like after dinner. So typically from about 7 to 9 in the evening is when those projects get attention. But I just, sometimes I could barely even sit down. I don't know, I was just very scattered. So I didn't get too big of a start, but a little one. I love stitching words, so I think that'll go by pretty quickly once I get back to it. This has this on the other side from last year. I think I started this in October of last year, and I think I finished it in like January or February. But yep, so maybe 2 more to add to my tombstones in there. This next project that I worked on, or I started, was Vulture Villa by Lindy Stitches. Look how cute that little vulture is. This was a series from 2021, I guess, and I stitched the hedgehog from this series as well. So this project, not everything is going to have a project bag because things were in and out of bags and all over the place. I was, wow. Looked in this bag here, look how cute that is. I love that bag. I stitched it in the called for DMCs, and I started it in October, but I did not finish it until November the 2nd. I went to a stitch and swap day, which I will discuss with you guys later, but I brought a couple of my leftover like Halloween whips that I was trying to get done so that they didn't just linger forever and ever. So this was one of them. I stitched this on a scrap of, I think this is a 32 count, just blue. I don't know what the fabric is. There's my finish. Look how cute he is. Whenever I stitch Halloween pieces on blue, I always think of my friend Olivia B. She's awesome. So there's my little vulture. Cute, cute. Alright, next up I've got 2 projects from one of my favorite Patreons, Beast or God. Throughout the year I've been working through stitching some of their patterns. I do pay for their back catalog, and so I've been working through those, and I knew, this I'd actually kitted up last October, and so I knew I definitely wanted to get to these projects this year. This was probably what introduced me to their Patreon. I don't remember exactly how I found it, but this was their stitch alongs for October in 2021, I believe. I keep all of my Beast or God patterns in this bag here, and that was the year that they did Over the Garden Wall, which I love. Over the Garden Wall, I watch it every single year. They did an Over the Garden Wall series, so I got 2 of those stitched up. I used all of the called for DMC. I think I've got maybe 2 or 3 more that they put out that year. So here's the first one. This is All That Was Lost Is Revealed. And I love this font. It's so pretty. These are all stitched on 18 count Aida, oatmeal Aida. And this was the next larger focus project that I did. Looks like this. This I feel like I stitched on forever and ever and ever and ever. I don't know why it took me so long. I didn't finish this until this past week. But I love it, love it, love it. If you are an Over the Garden Wall fan, I do suggest checking out their Patreon. It's always linked below. Let's see. see, another pattern that I started is called Tricky Treat Cats. This is designed by Holly Gordon for Imaginating. It looks like this. This is from 2000. This was another one that I had kitted up last year and never got to. So I was glad to get this pulled out this year. Look how cute that is. And then you don't stitch the ghost. And I had a different color of fabric pulled out, but then I realized I really wanted it on white, so I had to do a little reevaluating. I'm using Caught for DMC for that. And I think this might be a 20 count white Beta. I'm not sure. Here's where I got to. So I did not get too far on this one. This was another lunchtime pattern that I did the whole outline of that cat, and then it didn't match up, and I had to bring it home and rip it out and put it back in, and then I was just like, okay, I need to move on. But I don't think this will be a super fast, or I do think this will be a super fast finish whenever I get back to it. So, like that a lot. Another older whip that came out, excuse me, in October was Barbara Anna Designs, the Rampant Cat Sampler. Looks like this. This is another one that I was kind of hung up on. In these berry bowls, and at the top, the angel. I believe that's a blend that was called for in DMC. Focus. And it just would not show up on my fabric, and I had to audition several colors to find something that would show up on my fabric. That project lives in this great little doggy Halloween bag. I'm using most of the called for colors. I did change out that one blend to 3865. Looking a little rough. That's alright. I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count barley by Color and Cotton. And here's where I got to. So hopefully you can see that little angel up there and the leaves of this berry bowl much better now. So I did the angel, I did the leaves of the berry bowl. I think I added in this over one text. I had started to fill in this little cartouche. What is the date that's on there? 1826 is what the pattern calls for, but I'm going to change that to our wedding date since Halloween is our anniversary. I pulled the tree down, added the top of this hat, finished some more of this border. So I did get some things done, but it just doesn't, it feels like it's still so far. It's alright. There's always next year. This next little pattern I have here is by the Prairie Schooler. Looks like this. This is another little lunchtime stitch. I used the two called for colors, and I did stitch it on just a scrap of, I think, 36 count. Here's my little finish. I did not add in the single stitch border around it. But that's really cute. I don't normally like one strand of floss, of a dark floss on 36 count, but I just wanted something comforting. I just needed something easy, and this was that. Okay. My next big start was something that was a unicorn of mine for a very long time, and I was able to acquire it this past year, and that is Emma Nettles 1636 by Plum Street Samplers. It's got a real picture on it. It's like that. And I absolutely love this, and I was so excited to get it started. It lives in my Janet Jabber bag, which is a bag that favorites always go into. I'm using the called for DMC. There's not many of them. And I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count Ale by Picture This Plus in Lugana. Oops. And here's where I got to. So not terribly far. I think I was watching a Board of Ed meeting while I started this, and I miscounted. I added an extra stitch up here, so I just made a note to add an extra stitch on the other side, but I think we should be fine. So, and that's where she is. I do feel like I'm kind of rushing through these, but like I said, I've got this cold, and I just kind of, I don't want to get all like snippy and stuff on here, so if I'm talking fast, please forgive. The next project I have to show you is another Cozyegg Designs pattern. For the past several years, Emily and Michelle have put on a dark October seance near the end of the month, and it's a great little like a Zoom call, stitch along time. It's a lot of fun. I look forward to it every year, and every year Michelle releases a planchette as like a pattern for the seance. And this year she released the Belladonna planchette, and I did start it that night, stitching along with everybody. I used the called for colors here, which after stitching orange and brown all month, it was fun to, you know, get out some of these like brighter purples and pinky colors. Super fun. I lived briefly in this little project bag to go to lunch with me after I got it started. I stitched this on a piece of, I think this is a 32 count. It's probably a Grace Notes fabric. This came from my friend Hannah. Here's the finish. I don't feel like you can never really tell when you're filming how colors are coming across. I do feel like the green is getting a little washed out here, but it's really, really beautiful. This one was super fun to stitch. And I did bring the ones that I've done from years past. This was the first one. I need to go back. I think this was the same year that she also gave us the one with the death's head moth on it. I would like to go back and stitch that one too. So that was that one. Fuzz. Second one. Here was last year's. I loved this one. Oh man, look how great that is. And I think these have all been released. Not the Belladonna, but the rest of them. So those are all super fun. I look forward to that every year. Thank you, ladies, for putting on that wonderful time. I appreciate you all. All right, there's still more. I still have more to share. I have more projects to share with you. I think when I put everything out, I had 20 projects that I had worked on since my last video. And then I've actually had 3 more since Friday, but I only brought 1. So it is a lot today. The next project got a very small, like a very pathetic amount of work. This was a whip from last year. This is Witchcraft Wood Cut by Night Spirit Studio. Like this. Sorry, the cat just got up on the table and I'm like, what are you about to be doing? This project lives in this cute bat bag that I made. I'm stitching it on a piece of 28 count Monaco that I tea and coffee dyed myself, and I'm using 1 strand of Sulky 12 weight in 1186. This is pretty warm brown. Focus. And this got so little. This got such little work. I had already finished this one page here, and so all it got was these legs and the beginning of the devil's butt. This project is fun. I just wasn't in the right headspace to do anything. So we'll try again next year. Let's see. The next new start that I have is one that I was really, really excited about this year, and that is Boo Sheet by Curio Cabinet Crafts. This pattern is great. there are different options for the balloon, and if you see all the black stitching in the background, that is the optional gloom, which I of course am stitching the optional gloom. I love that. I think that adds everything to it. I love this. One thing about this pattern though is that it is stitched in glow in the dark, which is something that I have never worked with before and don't know that I will work with again. But we are committed here, so we're going to keep going with that. That's living in this little pumpkin bag. There's Stacy Nash in there. Oh, hi Mittens. Oh. And like I said, I am using the glow in the dark. And there's a little bit of black in it too. This stuff is like, I don't know, if you stitch with silk and you know how sometimes if your hands are dry, the silk will catch on like every little bit on your hand. I think this is worse than that. It was very difficult for me to work with. I really loved the orange fabric that model is on. I think that was also a primitive hair fabric, and I didn't have anything quite like that, so I did try to dye my own, and I didn't get it quite as dark as I had wanted, but I am pretty happy with how it turned out. I dyed 2 pieces. This was a piece of Lugana that I dyed. So again, colors are getting kind of blown out. This is darker than that's showing. And then this right here is my start. Hang on, please. So hopefully you can see that okay. I still haven't the Q-snap because I have not fully committed to being done with this yet, but we'll see. And you can kind of see the fabric there. And the gloom, the optional gloom. I love that. So that's coming along. I don't think this will be done this year though. So, right. The next project that I have here is a start and a finish, and it comes from the Magical Cross Stitch book by Lindy Stitches. It was Tuscan Cardinal. I've got both of her books and love them both, and I just really had to start something, and the one that I started was the Witch Plaque. And I just, let's see, stitch it in the called for DMC, only 4 colors, and I have a great big giant piece of 14 count black Ada, so I decided to go ahead and use that for this. I can't remember the last time I stitched on 14 count, and that was actually pretty nice it was nice and relaxing. So here's my Witch Plaque. This was a lot of fun. This is another one that I finished in November. When we were on vacation, actually. This was great, easy for the car because it's 14 count. The chart is big and clear and beautiful, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm thinking about restitching this like really small, like maybe on like a 40 count, and on like 40 count cream, and doing it in like a dark brown oval frame, and maybe giving this one to one of my sisters. So yeah, love it. All right. The next project that I have was my Halloween start. Maybe not always, but I do try to start something for our anniversary on Halloween, and this year was no exception. I had found this little art print, and that kind of inspired my choice for this year. I saw that and I loved it. And like I said, Witch's Garden Crafts has some great freebies on her Facebook group, and I first saw this on Cross Stitch the Globe's channel, and I think I went right then and joined the group and printed these out, and so it was time to start. This is one share and Karamia. I started this one. I am stitching this with more of that Mosale black silk, And this time I made it presentable. It's beautiful thread drop. It came from a friend. It is living in this bag that I made for no particular reason. And I'm stitching this on a piece of 38 count Delarna from Silk Weaver. I don't remember the color. I don't know if you can see that Poe piece right there. That's also stitched on this. And this fabric I have tried to start multiple projects on. I had to frog out a bunch. I'm not even done frogging everything off of this fabric, but I did get a pretty good start here. Okay. So I did get a pretty good start on that. There's just a lot of counting in this, in the border, but that's okay. And obviously both of them will fit on this same piece. So I think that'll look really pretty. Upstairs we have like two, like they look like cameos, but they're like a male and a female skeleton. And then I have my my wedding bouquet underneath, the hoops that I made for my wedding bouquet. So I think that I'm going to be able to put these with that art print up there, and it'll kind of like finish out that wall. So that's fun. The next project that I have, I also did not work on until November, but I didn't want the whole Halloween season to go by without picking up my Halloween Barnyard by Not Forgotten Farm. This is one of my top favorite projects. And it lives in my Olivia B bag from Hillside Rookery. This is one of my most precious stitching possessions. I love this so much. I'm stitching this on a piece of Fortnite Fabrics, 36 count in Phoenix Rising, using most of the, look at all these DMCs, using most of the called for, DMCs. I did make a change to the color of the barn just to add more contrast, and I am about to make another change, which I'll talk about here in a second. All that DMC, and here's where it is. So I knew we were going on our little trip, and the place that we stayed was only about an hour and 40 or so minutes away. So before we left, I outlined the witch's dress, and I got that all filled in with the purple. And then I was going to go ahead and put in her head, but then I realized she's a green witch, and I'm not typically a fan of a green witch, so I want to change her skin color. There's no way this won't be done next year. I love this. I love stitching on it just as much as I love the finish of it. So there is that one. I've got two more projects that I worked on. This next one is a start and a finish. I started this on this past Tuesday. And this is called Fall Rainstorm. And I will show you the name of the designer here. I even tried to Google how to pronounce it, and I could not. So here's the pattern. It's available on Creative Poppy. I'll link it below. That's the name of the designer. The pattern is Fall Rainstorm, and it's a little boy and a little girl and their dog in this fall rainstorm. You can stitch it as a banner or as two individual smalls, which is what I'm doing. It only calls for 3 colors of DMC. And I just think it's absolutely adorable. It's got such a great, like, I don't know, vintagey feel to it. So I love that. And I started with the little boy down here. Like I said, it's only 3 colors of DMC, a purple, an orange, and a yellow. I'm stitching this on a little scrap of 28 count Monaco in like ivory or cream, I'm not sure. And here's my finish. This is so stinking cute, and it did not take long at all. You do a lot of single strand 3/4 stitches to add dimension and texture, and I just think that that is so cute. I love that. And lastly, the last project I have to share with you that I have started is my birthday start. Like I said, I just turned 40 years old, which feels unbelievable to me, this past Saturday. And I decided for my 40th birthday I was going to spend the month of November starting for just BAPs, big projects. Things that I had wanted to start, that for whatever reason I had not yet, so it was time. And I chose for my birthday start, oh, where'd the cover go? Hang on. I had used the cover sheet to go behind the witch's plaque. So the pattern that I chose for my birthday start is Jean Podabon, 1906. And this is a giant sampler. Number one, I love it because there is a donkey and a dog on it. That is truly what drew me to this whole sampler. There's also a great ship on there too. A big, beautiful alphabet. This is very big. It's 334 by 334, so what's that, like 18, 19 inches on 36 count? I did have to order a half yard of fabric for this. But other than that, it is it's charted in Soie d'Alger with a DMC equivalent, so I am using the DMC. It is living in this bag that I made, my Grateful Dead bag. I made one for me and one for a friend who loved dearly. She's got the other one. But the colors of this bag perfectly match, I believe, the colors of this sampler. Here are, oh, are a little tangly. Here are all the beautiful DMCs, a lot of greens and reds. So pretty. And here, behind it, is my start on page 1. So hopefully, I can't see, so hopefully that is focusing. I don't know if I said this was a 36 count summer khaki that I chose. This is a tight 36 count, which I was not expecting because it's not a hand-dyed. But it is. And this is how far I've gotten in 2 days. The pages are big. There are a lot of pages to this pattern and they are big. So it's super easy to read and I'm really enjoying that so far. So I'm going to give this a couple of days before I move on to my next project. I'm hoping to get this page finished before I switch to something new. And I did bring my other, the other projects that I'm planning on starting this month. Show you. I don't know which order I'll start these in, but one will be the Shores of Hakron Hollow. I've had this kitted up for a while. I'm going to be stitching it on. Okay, I'm going to be stitching it on this piece of 40 count. Here's the dyer's information. I believe she sells on Facebook as well, but I thought that this looked kind of like an ink stained parchment. I don't know if you guys can see that. So that one is ready to go. I took this project and the next one, I took all the DMC with me on our vacation, and Aaron spent the evening getting everything on floss tags for me, which was really kind of him because there's a lot of floss in that, and there's definitely a lot of floss in this, and that is Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. I've had this one kitted and ready to stitch since before I started making floss tubes, and I think March will be 6 years since I've been making floss tubes. So I've had this one in my stash for a long time. I absolutely love it. This one, and the same with Shores. I might change out some overdyes for some things. I haven't decided yet. Again, Aaron got all the DMC ready for me, and I have this giant half yard of, this is an 18 count ivory Ada that I had tea and coffee dyed. It won't take up all of this, but I think that'll look great. And then my last big start for the month is going to be my next Birds of a Feather girl. This is an autumn girl. I have already started winter. I'm going to stitch all of these on the same 38 count cloister cream from Legacy Linen. I got this on my trip to the attic. And this calls for all week's dye works, but for the winter girl, I did choose all of my own flosses. So I'm going to do the same with this one, but I have not gotten quite that far yet, so I will probably wait and start this one around the Thanksgiving holiday. They all live in this beautiful bag. It's heavy. There's a lot of floss in here already. I might see if I can get any of the colors to overlap between the different patterns. So, all right, that's everything that I've worked on since I saw you last. Those are my, well, with the exception of 2 projects, those are all of my plans, and I'm going to get reset just a little bit, and I'm going to show you the purchases that I've made. So I'll be right back. All right, the first thing I have here is my Color and Cotton fabric of the month, which is called Green Tea. This was the October, which you can never ever see on here. But is beautiful. I did say that I went to a store, and that store is Primitive Homespun's Wool and Needlework, located in Frederick, Maryland. Jamie and Kathy Makers are the owners, and I stood there and talked to them for so long after I checked out. So nice. We gushed about having the same favorite designers and just stitching in general, and their the stitch group that meets at their store and the retreat that they have, and they were so nice. They don't have a ton of cross stitch in there. Hopefully that's gonna focus. But they don't have a ton of cross stitch in there. I'm not sure why I'm not focusing, but what they do have is really sweet and kind of curated to their style, and that's really nice. So I did pick up a couple things there. The first thing was a little wool and needlework pincushion kit. I've never done anything like this. Looks like this. And the kit came with everything that you need. It has the little thing to finish it in. It has the walnuts. It has all of the floss and the bits and the pieces all cut out and ready for you to go. And it was $19, and I thought that was a pretty good value for that little kit to try something like that and see if I enjoyed doing it. I also picked up A Raven's Reply by Luminous Fiber Arts, which I had seen many times but had never purchased. And I treated myself to Bobbin. Who doesn't love Bobbin? So sweet. And I did get all of the called for floss except for the overdyed black because it was just black. So that was a really nice end to our trip, was going there. I mentioned a little bit before that I went to a stitch and swap day. A lady who's in my stitch group and who's very sweet, her name is Kim. She's in the Cross Stitchers of Maryland group, organizes a stitch and swap day where stitchers can bring things to sell or freebies, and we all get together and stitch. And normally it's I guess maybe the last however many years it's been going on, it's always been over an hour away from me, so I just never had attended before, but this time it was about 6 minutes down the street, so I decided to go, and I'm so glad that I did. It was so great to spend that time with my friends and with fellow stitchers, and that was not a great day for me, and so being around just a lot of happy people and doing the things that we love really made that day a little bit easier. So I'm going to share with you what I got there. There were 2 patterns that friends had pulled to the side for me. The first one is this Glendon Place. My friends are great at shopping for me, and it had all of this. This was a freebie. And also this one. That was really nice, and it had the beads in it as well. This was not a freebie, but I've got this Primitive Hair Hedgehog pattern. And it came with the linen, which I was very excited about. There was a woman there selling the most beautiful fabrics. I guess I don't know why she was downsizing her collection, but she had some really gorgeous stuff. It was really hard to choose. But I did get this piece of 36 count seraphim in prism, which I feel like prism is a great descriptor for this. It reminds me of just like a, I don't know, a beautiful sunrise or sunset, I don't know. But it's very pretty. That's in 36 count. And then I also got a piece of 32 count Lugana in the color Scout. And hopefully you can see how beautifully sparkly that is. It's like a light purpley gray with a ton of sparkle, and I got this for Christmas stitching, winter stitching. I always want to put winter stuff on sparkles, so really pretty. And then she also came up to me and said, hey, I've got 2 pieces of 40 count mallow. So this is like a half yard altogether, and I bought it and I didn't actually care for stitching on it, so I have a little start on it. So if you don't mind picking out that little start here, you can just have these two pieces. So I got 2 giant pieces of mallow, which is great. And then the last thing that I got while I was there is this bow tool set by Chantel's 141. Looks like this. When I do finish my Christmas ornaments, I typically put a bow or something on it, and I hate making bows. I always have to go back to YouTube and watch how to do it again. I'm not a bow maker, but this is a bow. This helps you make the bows. And I was sitting next to my friend Heather. She was like, if they have these, you better go get one, because it was $8. And so I absolutely went and got one. So that should definitely help here when I have to finish up some Christmas ornaments soon, which I guess I need to probably finish stitching, huh? The last things that I have here are just a couple of PDF patterns that I purchased. This is from Llight Designs. This is Swan Lake. I have long loved the Llight Designs patterns. They are just so striking, and I don't have any particular affinity towards Swan Lake, but I just think this is absolutely gorgeous. So I had to pick that up. For Mama Witch X Stitch, I got this laundry ghost. How funny is he? He will go by my washing machine, as well as this one, which printed funny. I think it was called Lee, and it's a ghost swinging with leaves, and it looks like slices of pumpkin pie. Adorable. The last thing I got, Tarzan helped me open. This came up on Facebook Marketplace for a very good price. I don't think I've ever done needlepoint, but I would like to learn because I found this awesome dimensions kit. It's just the perfect fall scene for me. And like I said, Tarzan kindly opened this up for us so we could see all of that yarn. Whew. And there's a giant canvas and all the things you need. So maybe this will be another winter project for us to try. Alright, that's all the things. I kind of feel like I spoke really fast, so hopefully this is okay. I hope everybody is doing the best that they can. I hope everybody's doing the best that they can. And I don't really know what else to say other than that. We're all doing what we can do here. Like I said, I'm off today. Did I say I'm off today? I normally do like a little like family check-in in the beginning, which I did not do. I'm off today. Aaron's at work. Cora's sleeping on the floor over there. Mittens, you just saw. Tarzan is trying to take over Cora's room by sleeping in there. And I do have to say that we unfortunately lost our sweet little kitty cat Dingus, our little black cat, right before Halloween. So that's been really, really sad. But you know, we still love him forever. So Alright, I love you guys. Be good.